Hello and welcome to this edition of GoTo Biz Pros and Peers, our Facebook Live edition. We are bringing this to you because there are fantastic resources around the Kansas City area for entrepreneurs and businesses to grow. And the Innovation Center gets about 700 to 800 calls a year and about where do we go and how do we do business. And so we wanted to share with the audience some of our terrific resources that are our go-to. And today we have with us Kevin Oldham with Diffactory, and he really is a guru in just making sure that you have your marketing automated and online marketing automated. And we're going to talk today about the difference between sales and marketing, because a lot of people mush those together. There's really two different functions there, unless, well, we were talking about this earlier, unless it's online, but there's really two different functions. So Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure's all on this side of the microphone.
There you go. Perfect. We talked about not gesturing and going like this to the screen.
Yeah,
so
we did it to the microphone.
Yeah, do it to the microphone
Perfect.
instead. So.
Perfect.
No, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate the work that you do with Diffactory and working most particularly with small businesses to help them manage their brand, their message, and to help them automate so that they can reach audience online, most particularly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when we talk about the conversation between sales and marketing,
yes,
you know, it's a big one. A lot of people tend to throw those things into the same bucket. You know,
yes, yeah.
Particularly if you're new to like the profession, they'll say sales and marketing. They'll kind of throw them together. And I think that's been something that has been happening for a long time. Whereas we've learned as particularly different business cases where you're dealing directly with consumers or you're selling to businesses, that is a pretty big conversation, which we'll dive into today.
So, and we were talking earlier about the B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer. There is a difference there. Also, there's a difference when you're talking about online presence and sales and marketing versus that one-to-one that we have.
For sure.
Whether you're a service or whether you're a consumer good or whether you are a combo of both, it's always a challenge to understand your message and then close a deal. And so that's the essence, the difference between the two. Marketing is that message, sales is that direct presentation and selling, closing the deal.
That's right.
Making money.
Engaging in commerce, as I always like to say.
There you go. I like that.
Let's talk about B2B, so business to business. When you're a business and your other client is a business, like my company, for example, a lot of times what marketing's role is it's to reinforce what the sales team is saying in their interactions with the customers. So, big companies like IBM, let's use them as an example, they have a huge sales force, or pharmaceutical companies have a big sales force. And that's a business-to-business relationship. So they're out there having a conversation with the decision maker, and then the marketing has to reinforce what that person is saying. So whether that marketing is a brochure that gets left behind, or it's the website, or whether it's the social media presence, it all has to be congruent with what whoever's delivering the sales message and trying to close the sale has to all be coordinated. Whereas when you're dealing with business to consumer, so let's say you're a retail shop in downtown Independence, let's use a clothing store as an example. Marketing a lot of times is driving people to that store, whether that be signage, a sandwich board sign that's saying, hey, come on inside, that's marketing. Social media, mailers, all the different things that you may do, and then sales is really taking place inside that store. When whoever's working in the shop, whether it's the owner or it's a salesperson, that's what they'll actually call them, or a clerk, having a conversation with somebody and helping them engage in commerce, exchanging money for goods.
So, when we talk about, marketing, when we look at the marketing element of it, you just mentioned different mediums for marketing, whether it's the sandwich board or the website or whatever that might be. I think we tend to forget because so many people are digital. Yeah. And that's your business, so I'm not dissing your business here, but we completely forget that there's a breadth of things that you need to do to make sure that your message aligns.
Absolutely. And while we're a digital shop, we, for the first time, are getting ready to run print ads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
with our Chamber of Commerce and Lead Summit. It makes sense. That's our bullseye. That's our audience. And so we're doing a combination of digital and print. And I'm a guy who loves digital, but it's easy to forget about some of the other things that are out there that may be effective because everybody's on their phones.
Well, and it is about where your market is, right?
It's totally where your market is. I mean, believe it or not, like when we talk about marketing automation, one of the components that we have built into workflows is sometimes a postcard, if it is an appropriate audience. And we'll drop a very contextual and also timely postcard in the mail on behalf of our clients saying, hey, thanks for signing up. Here are the next steps. By the way, keep an eye out on your email because we're going to be sending you some information. So we look at cross-channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The fancy word, cross-channel marketing?
Sure.
Oh, okay. That's it. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Multi-channel. It's all about, how many times that you're touching people as they go through the customer journey, and the customer journey is completely different for every type of company and product. That's the most challenging thing. So understanding who your customer is, and then understand that they're on a journey intersecting with your brand or your product or your service, and how you can provide meaningful touch points. Like that's sales, or that's marketing's job, until you get them to basically turn into a customer. Convert into a sale, and then really marketing kicks back in because a lot of companies don't think about what you do after you get the sale. And one of the platforms we've been out there kind of riding on is the fact that customer retention is a highly valuable area that you should invest in, because it costs so much more to go out and get new customers than to keep your existing customers and cross-sell them, or sell them other offerings. The math is there. It makes sense. The research is there from Harvard Business Review. There's some fascinating statistics. And so marketing really is this thing that kind of envelopes it around sales, both on the front end and after you've won the sale. You still want to stay top of mind and add value.
Sure. So that's it's good that and we had last year, I forgot to mention, this is our second installment of 2018 GoTo Biz Pros Peers and Resources. Yeah, we didn't bring the confetti. I'm sorry, but but we have talked about customer knowing your customer and customer intelligence in past series, most particularly with Tammy Ogren with Morph Consulting. And she was talking about that relative to a consumer good and understanding how that relates to sales. And so when we talk about this marketing versus sales, or marketing and sales as two separate things, we know our customer, marketing's in the middle, and we have sales over here, and then marketing happens again. So it's cyclical, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because think about the most iconic brands that we all love, and everybody has different brands that they love, but some of the brands that I love, I will go out of my way to tell my family and friends about them. Absolutely. The business has already won me as a customer. I'm not going out and I'm not getting compensated by the product or service that I'm telling people about. I'm just doing it because it was a remarkable experience. It was a remarkable product. And that's where real action happens in terms of like getting new customers. It's like those brand evangelists and things like that. And the mistake that I think that a lot of companies make, and probably the bigger the company, the bigger the mistake, is they'll have these huge sales forces where they'll go out and they will focus on getting sales. And then once they do that, it's like, okay, they deliver the service, they're good, and there's no follow-up program installed. And that's a huge component that I think that every business should focus on. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of money. The resources are there. It's just like, let's invest in having a conversation with folks after they become our customer.
And that really could roll over. That's something that on a corporate perspective, on a corporate level, whether you are the entrepreneur and you're wearing 6 different hats, or whether you are growing a company and you think of that organizational growth, you need to really consider who am I going to have relative to marketing? Who is responsible for that close and sale and follow-up?
Yep.
Having something managed for those clients, for that client retention, and then making sure that they have their, as you were talking about automation, making sure they have those campaigns, if not identified, at least where they want to go with that. When you and I were talking about sales and marketing earlier, you'd made an interesting statement that sales, really that sales team, they're the ones that are out there talking to the customer, they're closing the deal. Marketing is there to support that. That marketing message is there to support that.
Yep. Kick up leads, or it serves a variety of functions. But yeah, I've always looked at marketing's job is to support sales, and that wasn't always a popular opinion when I was, chief marketing officer of a company and we had a sales team. But
Sure.
I basically said, our job, we can put out the best marketing in the world. We can kick up as many leads as possible. But if we're not supporting the sales team, giving them what they need to get the leads closed, really, we're just kind of existing and doing work, but it's not converting. It's not converting to like revenue, right? So why do it?
Well, and that's just it. The bottom line on all of this for our businesses is to make sure that you're efficient and that message flows all the way through to revenue.
Totally.
Because if we're not making money, then
You're just
we're
spinning your wheels.
Not in business, right?
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. We're just having a lot of action and stuff, but it's not converting to revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Sales are the lifeblood of every business. Period. That's it. Without sales, you just got a hobby.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how have you seen?
Pardon me.
How have you seen a change as we look at digital marketing and online sales platforms? Because there's been a huge change between managed branding, managed marketing relative to sales before really online marketplaces came into perspective.
Sure.
And now that's huge. So people, when they're considering, especially if they've got a consumer good, when they're considering developing their channels of marketing and channels of sales, they've got to consider that too. So how have you seen that change, and how has it influenced or affected, do you think, the marketplace?
So the good news is the tools that we have available today, I say we, meaning everybody has available, are enormous if you're selling something online. So we do a lot of e-commerce implementations for clients. We use the Shopify platform. People don't have to pay somebody to come use Shopify. You can go buy a template, you can put your stuff online, and you're going to be selling things in like 2 or 3 hours, which is wonderful. And then Shopify is just one example as a platform that you can build e-commerce on. They recognize that Amazon's a big player, and Facebook, you can buy stuff within Facebook Messenger now. Like there's marketplaces everywhere where people are saying, hey, I want to buy fill in the blank. And your job is, as a business owner, is to say, okay, here's my product or service. Identifying clearly who buys that product or service. Like that's like step one, and that's marketing 101. Is like who is your ideal customer? And then step 3 is like figuring out exactly where they hang out online. So if I'm selling...
Finding them.
Right? If I'm selling small batch, I think about these coasters that we just got, these wood-etched coasters that have like different Kansas City, Missouri symbolisms in them. I found those on Etsy. I knew if I wanted small batch cool things that I could have for my house and also give to my family, that would be where I would find a wooden coaster that's Kansas City branded. And sure enough, some guy etched them in downtown and sent them to me. So that's easy. Etsy's a marketplace for makers. If I'm selling these mugs, I like orange, which may or may not be made in America, then I'm probably going to go to a mass marketplace. I'm not going to find these maker unless they're handmade. I'm going to go to Amazon, for example. But I can still have a shop online where I'm selling my mugs or other people's stuff, or I can still have a shop online. So getting back to that multi-channel, while everything's digital, there's marketplaces, there's still selling things online, there's social media where you can sell things. It's a matter of identifying who your customer is and then where they're most likely to buy your stuff when it comes to online sales.
That first part of it, identifying who your customer is, and then the third part, find out where they hang out, where they're at. That's so critical. We have a lot of times when we have small businesses that contact us, and they are having the conversation, we'll ask them about their market. Cool. And probably 8 times out of 10, the first answer is everyone. I can tell you
it's a scary, expensive market.
Yeah, you're going to pay
That's
a
a super
lot of
scary
money for
one.
that one.
Everyone.
You know, and so I come from that finance background of helping businesses prepare for investment.
Sure.
And everybody's going to say, no, 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 no.
And
then when you
how about
talk-
everyone? No.
No. But it's the same for if you're talking about realistically
Right.
marketing and sales, and especially if you're newly entering the marketplace, you've really got to do a lot of research to find that
Absolutely.
customer then.
Absolutely, and it's expensive to reach everyone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you're Apple or somebody like that, yeah, man, you can reach everyone. Even Apple doesn't market to everyone.
Right.
Yeah, they've kind of niched down and identified who their customers are. So
Yeah, I've got a couple of family members that are never, just don't spend your money. Apple, don't spend your money on trying to get to them, right?
Right. So yeah, identifying who your
phone.
customer.
Yeah.
So listening to a podcast about flip phones.
It's
this
coming
morning.
back, man.
I miss those.
Oh, I know. There
the
you go.
simplicity.
That's right.
But you're right. Identifying your customer will not only save you money, but it also, like when you're talking about your messaging and marketing, it helps you resonate. When you have your message out there, whether it's on your website or an ad or a post or something like that, it helps you filter everything that you're saying and doing online through the eyes of, hey, are we talking to our customer? Mm-hmm. Is it going to resonate with them, or are we trying to talk to everybody? And when you're talking directly to your customer, think about it as a one-on-one conversation, even though this internet's this big scary place where it feels like you're talking to everybody. Yeah, you're only talking to the people who care. And those are your customers. And make sure that you're having a very aligned conversation with them. You're saying, hey, if I serve dentists and I provide software that makes their life easier, hey, dentist, I provide software that makes your life easier, and here's how.
Clear message.
Clear message.
Find your customer, clear message, and make sure that message is aligned with and find where they're hanging out, especially if it's online or even if it is in stores, or we've mentioned City Market earlier. That's a great place to go proof products for.
Totally.
Yeah. So find that audience, and then also remember that marketing is separate than sales. Marketing supports sales. Sales closes the deal, and then there's continued marketing and sales when you're looking at customer retention.
Absolutely.
That's
a good way to put it.
A big chunk.
It's a huge chunk, and without sales, you're dead in the water. I mean, sales solve everything in business, and they also lack of sales causes a lot of problems.
So think about it. That's for small businesses, for the entrepreneurs, small businesses. You've got to make sure that you plan for it. That you have a marketing plan, you have a sales plan, you know what type of people you need in your organization if you don't already have them, or if you're going to outsource, you need to know what you need to outsource. And then finally, make sure you've got a plan and execute, right?
That's right. Execute.
That's good.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's
Yeah,
always a lot of fun.
Oh, good conversation. So last time you did this, there was no preparation, no planning, nothing. Now we just come in here and we do that.
I like that better. I like just coming in and not having preparation. You're like, hey, let's get on Facebook.
Yeah, let's do this.
So next time we'll just stop by and we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just step in. So thank you very much for joining us for GoTo Biz Pros, Peers, and Resources. We're going to have in the coming weeks, we're going to have someone talking to us about public relations, which is another component of understanding your message and making sure that you represent that well. And then also we're going to be talking about millennials and workforce plus other stuff. Oh, I know
that's a good one.
It will be a good one.
Be a
so
good one.
I think that
Very important.
I'm not sure if I was born too early or late, because I've got some of the characteristics. I'm not really kind of a channel follower. And yeah, my motivations are a little weird, but to me anyway. But anyway, no. So we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. You can catch this also on the innovation.tech website, because we'll post that there, as well as the Innovation Center YouTube channel. So thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.